Hello everyone, Michael here, part-time gamer, full-time dad with another too long didn't read guide for World of Warcraft. This time on the block it's going to be the Balanced Druid, so let's just get it going. Quick warning before we do start, this is simply a beginner's basics guide and my recommendations for a new Balanced Druid looking to get a feel for the class. As an aside to that, this guide will not take into account legendaries or artifact level as they can seriously impact your playstyle. So I've personally never really paid much attention to balance until Legion came out. I couldn't get on board with it in Warlords, but I like what they've done with it this time around. Anyways, with that being said, we're going to start off with the suggested talents as these will impact your playstyle the most. First up, at level 15, your best bet is Star-Lord. The fact that it's passive and decreases the cast time by 20%, well, it's extremely strong. At 30, the choice is entirely up to you, although I would say either narrow your pick down to Renewal or Displacer. I personally roll Displacer. At level 45, I personally suggest Restoration Affinity. Having a passive ticking heal is nice, but having the ability to cast heals while you're in Thunder Chicken form is even better. At level 60, again this one's up to you. I roll with Typhoon, which has certainly saved my bacon more than once. And level 75, it's pretty much a one-man show with Incarnation Chosen of Elune. Soul of the Forest really only pulls ahead in massive AoE situations. For level 90, in a single target situation, you'll want to use Blessing of the Ancients, even if only used passively. If it's a multi-target sustained fight, Shooting Stars will most likely pull ahead. And finally, level 100 should be Nature's Balance for single target or low AoE, but Stellar Drift for sustained or massive AoE. So with a Balanced Druid, your stat priority is going to be as follows: Haste, Mastery, Int, Crit, and then Burst on the bottom. Now, you don't want to go crazy and stack nothing but Haste. Never forego large eye level bumps because a piece doesn't have Haste. A good rule of thumb, according to Exarips, which I've probably mispronounced, who's a Balanced Druid who raids for Method, is that you should never have more than double your crit as Haste. So with that out of the way, for your gems, you're going to want to aim for the Saber's Eye of Intellect plus 200 in one socket, and Quick Dawnlight plus 150 Haste in your remaining sockets, again based on your stat priority. So Relic priority for a Balanced Druid is pretty dependent on AoE versus single target. The relics essentially just swap spots in the priority order though, and since we don't all carry around dozens of relics to swap each fight, I would say just start aiming for single target gains and then focus AoE later if you need to. Essentially you want Scythe of the Stars as your first priority, then Solar Stabbing, then Dark Side of the Moon with Empowerment, and finally if all else fails, Sunfire Burns or Twilight Glow. For your enchants, we're talking Mark of the Claw on your neck, plus 200 int on your cloak, plus 200 haste on your rings. You can obviously use the cheaper versions of the last two if you don't have the gold for the nice ones, but obviously we're going to go with the best here. For your three consumables, you're going to want to use Flask of the Whispered Pact for the increased intellect, the Lavish Surmar Feast for the stat increase, and the Potion of Deadly Grace for single target, or Prolonged Power for multi-target. For your food, if your raid doesn't do feasts, go with the Azari Salad for your own. So the basic playstyle for the Balanced Druid rotation and cooldown use is pretty straightforward actually. It might look complicated on paper, but even if you screw it up, it's pretty forgiving. So first off, I'll start with cooldowns. We only have one. If you chose the Incarnation Chosen of Elune talent, it replaces your Celestial Alignment, but it's used the same way. Essentially, you want to make sure you get as many uses out of it as you can, so on pull, then as soon as you can after that, and so on. You can delay it a little bit to time it with another potion or heroism or something, but really, it's not going to make that much of a difference. With that being said, let's go over the spells right fast. So you want to maintain both Sunfire and Moonfire on your target at all times, trying to refresh as close to the finish as possible without letting it fall off. Then you're going to want to use Star Surge to consume your astral power, bearing in mind that it will grant charges of lunar and solar empowerment. Do not let these charges cap out. Cast New Moon to generate astral power and make sure charges are always rolling. Then it's just Solar Wrath spam. That's the quick and dirty of the rotation, pretty straightforward. One thing to keep in mind is that you also don't want to cap your astral power. If we're talking AoE, Starfall becomes your main astral power suck, with empowered lunar strikes being better on 3 or more targets than Solar Wrath, provided they're close enough to all be hit. That pretty much sums it up for the rotation. I'm going to take a quick 30 seconds to rattle off some of the other useful spells in our arsenal however. So first up is Innervate. You place this on a friendly healer and they can cast with 0 mana for 10 seconds. This can be extremely useful in progression when you see your healers up against a wall. Remove Corruption removes curses and poisons, which can help out your healers again in a pinch. Solar Beam is a ranged AoE interrupt / silence if the mob continues to stand in it, and Barkskin reduces incoming damage by 20% for 12 seconds. Finally, Rebirth, a battle res. If you don't know what that is, well, it means you can res somebody in combat. It's pretty awesome. With all that said, we've reached the end of this too long didn't read guide for the balanced Druid. If this was at all helpful, consider hitting the like button, maybe leave a comment if you're feeling frisky, get subscribed for more videos in the future, and hit me up on social media, links below. Thanks for watching, see you in the next one.